So, we're going to see how this goes. This opening hand is pretty great. Gandalf's Staff is definitely something I like to see early on. This one, I don't have Light of Valinor, which I would really like, but an Errand Rider, Test of Will, potentially having the Willpower allies or the Unexpected Courage early on, these are all good things. So, Control N. Alright. Draw here is Thrall's Key. Now, I can, if I wish, in the resource phase, play this Daeron's Runes from the top of the deck using Gandalf. So I think I'm going to do that. Draw 2. Discard a Rivendell Bow. I only really need one for Glorfindel. The extra ones are helpful, but not essential. So now we come to the planning phase, and I could, in theory, play another card from the top of my deck. In fact, it's a feint, so I obviously can't play that right now, since there are no engaged enemies, but it was still a decent idea to be prepared for the possibility. Maybe I shouldn't have discarded the Rivendell Bow. I could have used it to trigger Foe Hammer. But I'm sure I'll find another weapon soon enough. In fact, I'm going to play this other Daeron's Runes from my hand, discard the spare copy of Gandalf's Staff, and okay, now I could use Gandalf's ability to play another card from the top of my deck in the planning phase. I could play this Warden of Healing. I'm not sure that I want to, because, okay, so if we look over here, in fact I'll just start doing it, because this, up to a point, is not affected by what I do over here. I want to play this Errand Rider, I think. And the thing is, I would like to play one of the 2-cost spirit cards, either the Handmaiden or the Unexpected Courage. I suppose if I put the Unexpected Courage onto Haldir, then it works out the same, 2 willpower on the quest, while still having Haldir ready for combat either way, but I'd probably go for the Handmaiden and decide later whether I want the Courage to go on Haldir or Erkenbrand, the most likely targets. But I would also still like to have a resource for a Test of Will, which is why over here I would like to play Gandalf's Staff, and then exhaust it to give another resource to Glorfindel. And obviously, if I play the Warden of Healing from the top of my deck, I can't do that. Actually, over here, I'm not sure if I do want to play the Errand Rider. Okay, so with that being the case, in fact, I probably want to just play Gandalf's Staff using these 2 resources, save my Tactics resource in case I want to use this feint, exhaust the Staff, add a resource to Glorfindel, play Galadriel's Handmaiden, reduce this deck's threat by 1. I still have a resource to play a Test of Will, if relevant, and now actually I want to play the Dunedain Mark onto either Haldir or Legolas. Now, of course, the staging area is empty, but I do want to get somewhat on top of questing early on. Now, I will definitely be questing for 3, 7, 10, 12. 12 is pretty good. That's probably okay, so I think I can put the Dunedain Mark on Haldir, which is where I would prefer to put it because of his ability to attack preemptively. So it's more valuable to increase his attack to get preemptive kills. But of course he also has more willpower than Legolas if I was going to send him on the quest in this round instead. So, questing. 3, 7, 10, 12. This deck raises its threat by 1 for Glorfindel, since I don't have Light of Valinor. Questing for 12 against an empty staging area, and we reveal. False lead. End the quest phase without resolving the quest. Okay, I am totally fine with this. It's the first card of staging, so I haven't added any extra threat in the staging area that I'll have to deal with next round. And if I want to stall out at any point in the game, it is on stage 1. because things are easy at this point. There's no plot and no villain for me to deal with. This is the best time for me to go slowly. So, with that being the case, Control N, and OK. So now I definitely will play the Errand Rider. And then I could play another Handmaiden, or I could play the Unexpected Courage. Both are pretty good options. Meanwhile, over here, I will probably be playing the Rivendell Bow. Okay, I think I'm going to use Gandalf's Staff to have this deck draw another card, since we want to find Light of Valinor. Have not found it yet. I think Unexpected Courage on Erkenbrand to make sure I can defend against enemies is a good way to go here. And now I could actually play the Lembas. That is a pretty good idea. Lembas on Erkenbrand. And otherwise, I probably save my resources. So, once again, empty staging area. Questing for the same 12. This deck raises its threat by another 1. And we reveal City Street, which surges into Sewers. Underworld 1, and when revealed, place the top card of the Underworld deck face down underneath the active location, if able. I believe we do the keyword first. And then this one. And Lurking in Shadows. Return all brigand enemies engaged with players to the staging area. With this effect, return no brigand enemies to the staging area. It gains Surge. I think that's still okay. Ah, a Knife in the Back. Randomly select one ally controlled by the first player. If able, the first player deals X damage to one of his heroes, where X is that ally's attack. Then discard that ally if no ally is discarded by this effect. A Knife in the Back gains Surge. This deck is first player. So we will get a random number, 1 to 2. 2. So I discard the Errand Rider, it being my second ally. The Errand Rider has 0 attack. All the allies in these two decks have 0 attack. So a Knife in the Back will never hurt me. It will discard my allies, but it will not actually damage my heroes. This was a very deliberate deck building decision on my part. So, that's 5 threat in the staging area. I make 7 progress. There are only 5 quest points on the 4th star, so I have explored it. After the active location leaves players an explored location, I place a resource token here. And we reveal these Underworld cards. Murderous Turncoat. I was afraid one of these guys might be turning up. Kind of the worst to deal with. When revealed, Murderous Turncoat makes an immediate attack against the first player. So I deal with a Shadow card and defend with Erkenbrand. This is the main reason I wanted the Lembas. These guys can do some serious damage. So, okay, 5 attack, 3 defense. Erkenbrand takes 2 damage. Next Underworld card. Lossanak Bandit. And the third Underworld card. Another Murderous Turncoat. Well, isn't this great? I discard the Lembas to heal Erkenbrand and ready him. And then he will defend and take 2 damage again. Oh no, wait, this... I'm stuck, aren't I? Erkenbrand is guaranteed to die. Or a different hero. 5 attack, immediate attack when they're revealed. These guys are the card that screws me over the most in this quest. Obviously I have the Feint, but that only works for one of them. I have enough attack to kill one, but not all on Haldir, so that doesn't work. because of the 4th star leaving play, both decks draw a card. I can play this Daeron's Runes. Okay, I have 2 feints, so I can continue reasonably. I need to discard something to this Daeron's Runes. Oh yeah, Gandalf's Staff. So, okay, and this is discarded. I travel to the city street. I have no choice but to travel to the city street. Now, I need to engage these enemies. The Lossanac Bandit has to end up on this side of the table. I suppose I could have used a test of will to cancel the when revealed on the murderer's turncoat. That would also have worked. Something to bear in mind, perhaps. But yes, I need the Lossanac Bandit to end up engaged with this deck, because I need both of the tactics resources on Legolas to pay for the 2 feints. Beyond that, I guess it doesn't matter. And that will happen regardless, because this deck is first player and the Lossanac Bandit has the highest engagement cost. So I think whatever we do, we end up with this. Glorfindel loses his resource. So I play my 2 feints on the 2 murderous turncoats. They do not attack. Erkenbrand readies with unexpected courage and defends against the bandit. He takes no damage. Haldir and Legolas will kill one of the turncoats. It doesn't matter which one, so let's do the one... Oh, no, it does matter which one. Okay, so forced, at the end of the combat phase, place murderer's turncoat face down underneath the active location if you are not at stage 3. It should really say, if able. That's obviously an oversight, because in this situation, of course, there could be no location for you to travel to, in which case, no active location. And of course, in this case, when I kill the murderous turncoat with Legolas, I will place 2 progress on the active location, exploring it, meaning there will be no active location to put the murderous turncoat under, which means I assume it remains in play, engaged. If this location had more quest points, then it wouldn't matter which turncoat I killed, because I would end up with 1 dead and 1 under the active location either way. But since it does, I have to consider possibilities like, would I rather keep this one, since I could potentially not quest with Gandalf and have him defend, or would I rather keep this one because I want this deck to not be engaged with enemies, so that Haldir and Legolas can just attack at ranged? And honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what my chances of survival here really are. In any case, it must be said. But I think I will kill this one. I explore the active... I suppose I could just choose not to trigger Legolas. Of course, that will mean that when I explore the location next round, I will reveal this guy again and take the immediate attack. So no, I explore the active location with Legolas, place another resource here, and discard these shadow cards. And Control N, new round. Okay, there's another feint. That's great. Let's see. I will play the Rivendell Blade onto Haldir. I don't need to hold on to the tactics resource for the feint because Gandalf can play it from the top of the deck, so long as I don't draw any cards in the meantime. If I use Gandalf's staff to add a resource to Haldir, I can play one of these 2-cost lore cards, most likely the Warden of Healing, since Erkenbrand has already started taking damage. I think it's pretty important for me to do that right now. I shouldn't be getting... Well, it's not particularly likely for me to be getting any more enemies at this point. I just realised I did this wrong. This Murderous Turncoat is, of course, shuffled back into the Underworld deck. There shouldn't be any other enemies in here, no. So, yes, Warden of Healing. It's not overly likely that I'll get more enemies. There are enemies in the encounter deck, but a large proportion of them are in the Underworld deck. But I still have to be ready, regardless. Okay, Test of Will I do want to hold on to. My errand rider died, of course. Well, he didn't die, he was a traitor. So I suppose I should play a new one. And I will also play Thror's Key. Or I could play a Blue Mountain Trader and then move him across the table, take one of Gandalf's resources, so I'd still have a resource for a Test of Will. I don't need to actually make any progress questing this round, so the extra willpower is fairly insignificant. I think Thror's Key is going to be a better choice. Now, questing. Given that I don't need to make any progress, I can quest more lightly than I usually would. So, obviously, Éowyn and the Handmaiden, they do nothing but quest. And I don't want to be raising my threat. I suppose I'd need Haldir and Legolas to kill this guy regardless. I don't really have a choice about that. Well, I mean, it could equally be Haldir and Gandalf. That would also work. But I think... Okay, so actually, if I want to hold more back from questing, possibly accept a bit of a threat raise, I could use Gandalf and Haldir to kill this Murderous Turncoat, and then Legolas and Glorfindel could kill this Losnak bandit. And I would keep everything under control. That's probably a decent idea. City Street Surges. The Cabal's champion, Surge Doomed 1. This is an objective. If the Cabal's champion is unattached and in the staging area, attach it to a villain enemy if able. Counts as a title attachment with the text, attached enemy gets +1 threat, +1 attack, +1 defense, and +2 hit points. So this is irrelevant until I reach stage 3 and reveal the villain. So I'm actually just going to put it over here under the villain, since that's where it will be going. Underworld Dissident. The Cabal's champion again. Surge Doomed 1. And another Underworld Dissident. This is unfortunate. But okay, so that's 8 additional threat added. I'm losing by 5. I can discard to boost Éowyn. It's a pretty good idea. So, Blue Mountain Trader and Gathering Minstrel. So I lose the quest by 3. This will hopefully still work out. I travel to the city street. Now I am going to have to deal with these 2 additional enemies, which is the larger problem. The city street only has the city trait. The sewers are an underworld location, so these guys are 3 attack each. But that should be manageable. I suppose I just end up with 1 engaged with each player. I wasn't going to use Haldir's ability anyway, so that's not too bad. Now I play this feint from the top of the deck using Gandalf. The murderous turncoat does not attack. So now all the remaining enemies are 3 attack. Erkenbrand can defend 2 of them, and the other one will have to be undefended. So it's simply a question of whether I want to put the undefended damage on Gandalf or Glorfindel. I mean, I could chump with my Errand Rider, that's also an option, but I quite like being able to move the resources around, so I'm going to take this one undefended. Return attacking enemy to the staging area after this attack. Okay, and actually I can put the damage on Legolas, maintaining Gandalf's hit point pool in case he has to defend at some point. Now, Erkenbrand defends, that's fine, and Erkenbrand defends again, and that's fine. The Warden of Healing heals Legolas and Erkenbrand. So now we attack for 3, 7, ignoring 2 points of defense. I suppose I didn't need to ignore the 2 points of defense. And kill the Murderous Turncoat, which is shuffled back into the Underworld deck. And we also attack for 3, 6, and kill. Now, actually, it may be better to kill the Underworld Dissident, because if I reveal more Underworld locations, then they will become more threatening, whereas the Lossnach Bandit is only ever going to be 3 attack. On the other hand, the Dissidents are easier to kill. So, no, let's kill the Bandit. Place 2 progress with Legolas, exploring the active location. Oh, so I also forgot to trigger Foe Hammer, which of course I could do using this Rivendell bow. To draw 3 cards. Okay, I'm going to take the risk and play Deep Knowledge here. Dunes 2, draw 2. I could play the second Deep Knowledge, that would be really pushing it, I think. But, I don't know. Obviously, there is one plot which will add more threat, but of course I draw more cards. Hopefully I find my threat reduction in here. I do have 2 Handmaidens in hand. I'm going to risk it. Since there are still important cards that I haven't found. There's a Glathrum's Greeting, so hopefully we'll be okay. Discard shadow cards. I could move Eowyn's Resource here. I'm not sure that I want to. I think I probably want more spirit resources, actually. More lore resources would also be good. Okay. Control N. New round. Okay. Well, that certainly makes things interesting. So, my general practice has been to put Steward of Gondor onto Erkenbrand, and then use errand riders to move the resources away from him. And that would certainly make sense at this point. I get him an extra resource, quite possibly with Gandalf's staff. Yeah, I think this is going to be the way to go. So I exhaust Gandalf's staff, add a resource to Erkenbrand, play Steward of Gondor. Let me just check. Okay, Hands Upon the Bow is on top of my deck. I could play this in the planning phase. Not the planning phase, the resource phase. So just backtracking a bit, before I play Steward of Gondor, I think this is a good idea. I just want to keep the staging area empty. So I use Hands Upon the Bow with Legolas. I miss out on using his ability, but I don't particularly mind that. It just means that, like I said, the staging area has less in it. And that was during the resource phase, so I can still play from the top of the deck in the planning phase. Now, so yes, I then in the planning phase use Gandalf's staff to add a resource to Erkenbrand, play Steward of Gondor, exhaust it to get 2 more resources. Now, okay, yeah, there are definite possibilities here. I suppose I really do want to get just as much stuff into play as possible, so I'm going to keep doing these doomed things. Doomed 2 with the Herald of Anorian, bringing in a Galadriel's Handmaiden, reducing this text threat by 1. Then saving my spirit resources, so if I don't need to play a Test of Will, I can play a Greeting. Over here, let's see. Okay, so Rivendell Blade, not actually that high a priority. I could just play Wingfoot. Or Lembas. Doing okay for damage on the table. I'm going to play Wingfoot. Remembering, of course, that it did get errated, so it now exhausts. And okay, so once again, I don't need to make any progress. There's 3 threat in the staging area, so I can afford to skip Glorfindel. 4, 6, 8, 9, 11, naming enemy for Wingfoot. And the quest phase without resolving the quest. Once again, I'm pretty okay with that. I couldn't actually progress in the quest at all this round anyway. I suppose this does mean Haldir is exhausted, where he could have preemptively killed the dissident. But we'll cope. So I just end the quest phase and then travel to the sewers. This is actually kind of the ideal for what could have happened to me this round. Other than maybe I shouldn't have quested with Haldir. I could have just sent Gandalf instead. But now we defend with Erkenbrand. Return attacking enemy to the staging area after this attack. I will trigger Erkenbrand's ability to cancel that shadow effect. And then attack for 5, which is enough to kill the dissident. He's shuffled into the Underworld deck. I will pay 3 for Galadhrim's Greeting to reduce this deck's threat by 6. Source the Warden of Healing to heal Legolas and Erkenbrand. And Control N. So we're doing pretty well here. Slightly rough start, obviously, but it's coming together. So, okay. I think I definitely want to play as both Galadhrim, Let's just fully power up Haldir. Legolas can have this second Rivendell Blade. Hold on to a tactical resource to play Hands Upon the Bow, irrelevant. And okay, so Gandalf's staff can add a resource. Errand Rider can move a resource. Getting Asphalloth into play would be good, or Gleowine. So let's, well, the staff is more flexible, so let's move a resource. Play Gleowine. Exhaust Gleowine, this deck draws a card. Another Steward of Gondor. Light of Arnor should turn up eventually. That's all I'm really looking for at this point. Okay, so then I think I do want to use Gandalf's staff to add a resource here. I have another Errand Rider I can play. And in fact, I definitely do want to play this Errand Rider. But then, how concerned am I about Erkenbrand taking more damage is really the question, because that's obviously the other thing I would want to play is the Dunedain Warnings, but I think I can probably afford to wait. So I move a resource and play my third Handmaiden. Since there's no sign of an Elrond's Council yet, I will reduce this deck's threat by 1. And I still have a resource for Test of Will. So, questing. Naming enemy for Wingfoot. That's 13 willpower against an empty staging area. 3 quest point active location. This should all be good. Arched Tunnel. Underworld 1. Travel cost is to reveal all the face-down cards underneath Arched Tunnel 1 at a time, then place the top card of the Underworld deck face-down underneath Arched Tunnel, if able. This is something which I could use Thrall's Key on. But I don't know that I have to, especially with Asphalloth around. I don't know. Maybe. There's one other location that can be a problem, called Rathkeladane, as I recall, this one. While it's in the staging area, it gains forced at the beginning of the encounter phase. Reveal the top card of the Underworld deck. If it is an objective, discard it. We've already seen 2 copies, so actually, I think this is probably a decent time to use Thrall's Key. And second card of staging, Traitor's Den. Oh yeah, this one also can be a problem, but it should be alright under these circumstances. Underworld 1. Forced at the end of the round, place 1 resource token on Traitor's Den, then if it has 4 or more resource tokens on it, remove all tokens from it and reveal at random one of the plot cards removed from the game during setup. Add that card to the staging area. Could be a significant problem, but you just explore it in time and it's not a problem. It's just so long as you don't get location locked. So that's 7 threat, I make 6 progress. There's only 3 quest points on the active location, so we explore the location. Add a resource here, advance the quest. When revealed, reveal the set-aside plot card and add it to the staging area. Unholy Alliance, reveal 1 additional card from the encounter deck and add it to the staging area during the staging step each round. If a hero is destroyed by an enemy attack, the players have lost the game. Okay. This could be difficult. I'm honestly not sure if I've ever actually had this plot. I've played this quest quite a few times, especially, well, I've played the regular version quite a few times. The Nightmare version, not as much. I'm not sure if I've ever actually had to deal with this plot. I've always gotten different ones. Definite nice example of good replay value. When revealed, make Roots of Mindolluin the active location, returning any other active location to the staging area. Underworld 1. Each location in the staging area gets +2 quest points. And of course, this is the Underworld card from the active location I just explored. False accusations. When revealed, each player must either raise his threat by 5 or exhaust each ready character he controls. Well, clearly, I will exhaust each ready character I control. There are no enemies for me to deal with, so this is not a problem at all. It's unfortunate that it means I miss out on my healing this round, but since there are no enemies, that's still not that much of a problem. I don't have a lot of damage in play. I can now use Gandalf's staff for whatever I like, and I think what I want is to draw another card here. Okay, more threat reduction is good. I would still like to see Light of Valinor. Control N. Draw here is another test of will. Glare Wine. Herald of Anorian. Okay. Exhaust Steward. Now, okay, so, oh, and at the end of the round, place 1 resource token on the Traitor's Den. Just to be sure, I am going to play this West Road Traveller and switch these 2 locations. Nothing to say that I can't do that. So, this means I can just get rid of the Traitor's Den as quickly as possible. And otherwise, okay, I could play another Herald of Anorian. There are more allies I could bring in, but I don't think it's super important. I think right now I would rather get both of these Dunedain warnings onto Erkenbrand and move the final resource to, well, I could put it on Glorfindel, just saving up or potentially allowing me to play both tests of will, or it might be useful over here. I'm going to play this Rivendell bow onto Glorfindel. Give it a bit more space. Let's see. I have obviously another Rivendell bow, 2 copies of Hands Upon the Bow. Okay, no, I think I'm going to Errand Rider the resource to Haldir to play Asphalloth onto Glorfindel. And then I will put the second Rivendell bow onto Legolas, I think. So he'll just have that extra point of attack when he's attacking at ranged. And that should be good. So, 6 threat in the staging area. And I am revealing an extra card. So this could be more difficult than what I've been getting used to. Yeah, I have... Oh, no, right. Yes, I forgot to actually take the resource off Erkenbrand to move it to Haldir. But, okay, so 3, 5, naming enemy for Wingfoot. 9, 15, 16, 18. I need 6 progress to complete this location. I can discard to Eowyn. I would need to reveal 6 or more threat, but I am revealing 3 cards. I do have Asphalloth. Should I send Glorfindel or not? I'm going to send Glorfindel, just to be sure. I didn't get the threat increasing plot, so I'm not as worried about my threat as I otherwise would be. And I didn't get the plot that discards from your deck, so I'm not too worried about drawing as fast as possible to try and find Light of Valinor and Elrond's Council, which otherwise would be a concern. and I will not have to deal with those effects so long as I explore all traitors' dens that I find. Lurking in Shadows does nothing against Surge. Traitor's Den. Okay, Control-Shift-H for the Underworld 1. Card 2, Knife in the Back. Okay, this deck has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 allies. Random number 1 to 7, 7. The West Road Traveller is discarded. I deal no damage. City Street, Surge. Houses of the Dead. Underworld 2. After it becomes the active location, exhaust all characters. Okay, so that's 4, 6, 9 threat added. So I am making 6 progress. I explore the Traitor's Den. So this is fine. Add a resource token here. Flip this up. It is a Zealous Traitor. Now, Underworld cards, when you explore the active location, are revealed. It is still the quest phase. I just revealed an enemy. Haldir is readied by Wingfoot. Now, okay. So, at this point, I have no choice but to travel to the city street. So we will travel to the city street. And then, once I'm there, I will play Hands Upon the Bow to kill the Zealous Traitor and explore the city street. Mostly I just didn't want to engage the Zealous Traitor since it would deal damage to all my allies. I suppose I could have just killed the Warden of Healing. I do have 2 more. But it's still nice to hold on to. Unfortunately, this means I do have quite a bit of threat in the staging area. And all these locations have +2 quest points because of the roots of Mindoluin. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can really do about that other than start asphallothing things. So I could go for the Houses of the Dead, or I could go for the Traitor's Den. Thrall's Map would be nice right now, because having explored the active location during the travel phase, I could use the action on Thrall's Map to get a new active location. But I can't do that, so Traitor's Den or Houses of the Dead. Houses of the Dead is more threat. I can probably travel to the Traitor's Den soon enough. Put the Asphalt progress there. Heal. And okay. Gandalf's Staff will be used to make this deck draw another card. Power of Orthanc. Okay. Control N. Elrond's Council. Good to see. Glare-Wine draws me Unexpected Courage. Steward of Gondor gets me extra resources, which I will be moving with my errand riders. Over here. Okay, let's play this both Galadriel onto Legolas. And then under the circumstances, we're going to give a resource to Haldir and play a Mirkwood Pioneer, triggering the optional Doomed 1. No, there should be a resource here. To say that the Arched Tunnel does not contribute its threat until the end of the round. So that removes 4 threat from the staging area. Now, that I think is it for this deck. Over here, I could actually play this Herald of Anorian. I should have enough threat reduction. So we're going to do this. Doomed 2, bringing in this Galadhrim Minstrel. Searching the top 5 cards of this deck for an event. No events. But then we shuffle. Still Glare Wine on top. But I have just brought in more willpower, which is the important thing right now. Another unexpected courage. Maybe just Erkenbrand again. Or I could do Gandalf. But I don't know. Maybe Haldir. Let's go for Haldir. And that'll be it. So in the quest phase I will be using this Elrond's Council. This is not counting its threat. There is 2, 5, 9 threat in the staging area. I am of course revealing 3 cards. Request for 3, 5 naming enemy for Wingfoot. 6, 7, 11, 14, 20, 22. Okay, that should be fine. I can't actually make any progress anyway. I could hold back Glorfindel. Save myself the threat. So I'm just questing for 19 against 9. I think that's okay. Unwelcome Discovery. Surge, when revealed, reveal 1 card from the Underworld deck and add it to the staging area. If it's a clue card, discard it instead. This might be worth cancelling. What other treacheries could cause me problems? Knife in the back is not a problem. That's in the Underworld deck. That's not a problem right now. There's only 1 copy of this, I think. Local Trouble, 2 copies in the discard pile. I think I'm going to use one of my tests of will at this point. It still surges. Sewers. Underworld 1, there is no active location, so the when revealed does nothing. So that's first card of staging. Second card of staging, if the active location has at least 1 face down card underneath it, Faithless Conspirator cannot take damage. Okay. And this again, which surges and reveals 1 card from the Underworld deck. So, Underworld deck, Control Shift E. Zealous Traitor. Oh, how they should have already readied with Wingfoot from the Faithless Conspirator. And also Surge. A knife in the back. So, 4 allies over here. Random number 1 to 4 gives me 1. I guess I didn't specify which way I was counting, if I was going totally left to right or by rows. So I did kind of do it that way in my head. And that's the worst way for me to do it. Losing Glare Wine is... Well, I don't know which is worse, actually. But anyway. Okay, so I have added 9 threat to the staging area. I make 1 progress. There is nowhere to put the progress, so that's not a thing. Okay. So I think I really need to deal with the roots of Mindolwyn to take away the extra quest points on locations in the staging area. So I travel here. Now, I could deal with engaging a zealous traitor, but I could equally not have to deal with engaging the zealous traitor. Hang on, oh geez, I just reshuffled the encounter deck, but did the last zealous traitor... I think I discarded it where it should have been shuffled into the encounter deck. That's fine. This guy was never revealed. These went as shadow cards. But that zealous traitor I killed with hands upon the bow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for taking the zealous traitor when I can take the zealous traitor reasonably. So yeah, okay, let's go for that. Or, I mean, things are fairly well under control at this point. So let's see how it looks after I use Asphalth to explore the houses of the dead. Thus revealing a scrap of history, clue, and a lost knife bandit. Okay, so obviously Erkenbrand can defend 2 of these. I could simply use hands upon the bow to kill one before it leaves the staging area. Or not. Okay, I think this is pretty reasonable for me actually, so I'm going to optionally engage the zealous traitor with this deck. Since I optionally engaged it, it's only 1 damage to each ally, which kills the minstrel. However, the pioneer and Gleowine will survive. I'm going to end up with 2 enemies engaged with this deck. Was it? So we want this one here, which is actually how it will happen naturally anyway. So, shadow cards. Now, 4 attack, 3 attack, 3 attack. I'm going to use Gandalf's staff to discard this shadow card and take this undefended. 3 damage to Legolas. Erkenbrand will defend the other 2 attacks. Of course, he has 5 defense right now, so that's fine. And this is also fine. So now we want to kill enemies. Glorfindel is ranged. Of course, I can use this clue now. I didn't actually find any clues on stage 1 where I would have been less bothered about them, but now adding the extra resources will get me through stage 2 faster, which could be quite a good thing for me. So, well, what kills can I get? How much attack? Legolas is... of course, both of Galadrim... He's more attack at ranged. Both Galadrim and Rivendell bow. So in fact, attacking at ranged, I think he can kill this guy by himself. Yes, he can. Whereas, say, attacking up close, 3, 4, ignoring 2 points of defense, he could still kill this guy by himself. Haldir, about the same. 4, 5, ignoring 2 points of defense. Or 6, ignoring 2 points of defense at range. We want to kill the Faithless Conspirator. Oh, no, wait. The Faithless Conspirator cannot take damage. So that point is moot. Because the active location has a face-down card under it. So, cannot damage this guy, which makes this really very easy. I can kill these two. Legolas places 2 progress here. And then I have 2 spare hero actions to exhaust, add a scrap of history to the victory display, place a resource token on the quest, and then, of course, the Traitor's Den is the thing. This needs to get up to 4 resource tokens before it's a real problem. Control N. New round. Arwen. Exhaust Steward of Gondor. Glaiwine draws me Bilbo. Okay. So, I send a resource to Haldir so he can play a new Warden of Healing. That's all that really is going to come up over here, I think. Here, well, we send 1 resource here so I can play Arwen and still have a resource for Test of Will. Do want to get that threat reduction played at some point, but it's not looking too bad for the moment. Over here, new Warden of Healing is the only thing that really matters. There's 10 threat in the staging area. Yeah, this plot is tough. So 2, 5, 6, 10, 16, 20. I need 3 progress. 25. The fact I haven't found Light of Valinor is very annoying. Yeah, how did I get to 25? 23, surely. 3, 5, 6, 10, 16, 20, 23. Okay, and we reveal. False accusations. They're a threat by 5 or exhaust each. I don't think I want to do that. Now is time for cancelling. Arch Tunnel. Underworld 1. Unwelcome Discovery. Reveal a card from the Underworld deck. Can ready Haldir. And also Surge. So how I cancelled the first card, this was the second card, that was the third card. So this is the end of it, right? Knife in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Random number 1 to 8. 3. Third Handmaiden. So I just lost 2 willpower. I added 7 threat to the staging area. I make 4 progress, which is enough. Oh. Oh. I messed up. The Houses of the Dead had more quest points because of the Roots of Medalwin, so I couldn't have done what I did last round, and all this is sort of invalid. Yeah, I really don't know how to unpick that. Other than to just sort of put an asterisk by this game, which is unfortunate because it was going reasonably well and kind of interestingly. So, okay, just as an example, I suppose. If we ignore that one mistake, for the sake of argument, I explore this location, advance the quest, reveal the villain, Hand of Castamere, shuffle the underworld deck into the encounter deck, move all to encounter deck, and also reveal this. Okay. And then I guess travel to the Traitor's Den. So then I would have had to deal with these enemies. Can basically ignore that. Still can't damage the Faithless Conspirator. Don't have a feint for the Hand of Castamere, which would be useful. He has +2 defense, +4 hit points, so I certainly can't one-shot him before he attacks. I could do that to the Lost Knack Bandit. So, yeah, so I'm just going to play this out sort of quickly as an example, because this was sort of interesting, and then I'll do another play where I'll do it properly. Haldir can kill the Lost Knack Bandit. Erkenbrand defends this. After he attacks, reveal the top card of the encounter deck. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, that shouldn't have been discarded yet, but never mind. Hang on, he is 6 attack. Erkenbrand does take 1 point of damage. Erkenbrand also defends this. That's fine. And... okay, so... what was I say? 5 defense, 10 hit points. Yep. So... attack 3... 4, 5, 6 at ranged, ignoring 2 points of defense. Okay, so we're ignoring 4 points of defense, so he's defense of 1. I need to get up to 11 attack. 6, 5, yeah. Haldir and Legolas can immediately kill the Hand of Castamere. I'm not actually sure what happens to the Cabal's champion when it's unattached. I feel like it would just get discarded if it's been attached and then is unattached afterwards. So I would do that. Use Gandalf's staff to draw again. I would also play Foehammer from the top of the deck to draw 3 more cards. Finally find a Wizard Pipe. Heal these 2. Don't have a ready hero to do that one. Control N. And... okay, so... at this point, basically, I would just want to quest to victory, which might be a bit difficult. Let's see, 4, 7, 11, 13 threat in the staging area. Revealing 3 cards. Need to make... oh, I forgot about Asphalloth for last round, so I would have put the progress here. So I can potentially clear out this location. Or here. This is more threat. So, obviously, no willpower to be gained here. Unless I want to quest with a Warden of Healing. Oh, Bart? Yeah, okay, Mirkwood Pioneer. Play from the top of the deck. Doomed 1. Who cares about my threat right now? Cancel 4 threat from the staging area. So there's 3, 7, 9. Over here, I would of course move a couple of resources, play some more willpower. I don't have a test of will, so play all the willpower, transfer this, steal a resource, exhaust Gandalf's staff, gain another resource, all the willpower. Right. So that's as much willpower as I could get. And then we would quest for as much as possible. So 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 15, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27. Losing my threat by 1. Preemptively discard to Eowyn. Oh, I would have played the Wizard Pipe. That's also a thing. So, Wizard Pipe. And put Hands Upon the Bow on top of the deck. Discarding to Eowyn. 29. I mean, I could quest with Erkenbrand. I don't want to quest with Legolas because of Hands Upon the Bow being a thing. In fact, he can make progress. He can make 2 progress by killing something, which is more than the 1 he could make by questing. But okay, yeah, we could go up to 30, and then we reveal 3 cards. Surge, Surge. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got a doomed 1 along the way. From this attached to Gandalf. So we added 2, 5, 6 threat, making 15 progress. So we asked for this. Okay, also, immediate attacks are happening. But okay, that reduced the threat in the staging area by 3. So we are making 18 progress. Need 19. Haldir is ready, of course. I can play Hands Upon the Bow. So 4, 5, 6, ignoring 2 points of defense. One of these guys is just dead. 2 progress here. I can exhaust Haldir to claim this and then add it to the victory display to put 3 progress on the active location. So actually I could do that before the Legolas, so 1 thing would go there. This ends up in the staging area, which adds 3 more threat again, though I just killed an enemy, so we're only up by 2, and I would win the quest at this point. Except for that one significant mistake a couple of rounds ago. So yeah, obviously I didn't really need to play that out, but I wanted to kind of demonstrate it. Give you more of a feel for the quest, because it's fun. But I should do it again and try not to screw up. And I think if I hadn't made that mistake, it quite possibly would have... It might not have stopped me winning in the long run, but then again it might, because more threat in the staging area always going to have a significant impact. Hard to be sure. Anyway.